Welcome to the Daddy Rich Rockin' Chair album on YouTube.
Get rid of one. Come on, let's stop this. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Daddy Rich Rockin' Chair Hour. Yeah, we doing it all good down here in Dallas, Texas. Coming at you real strong there. It's the Daddy Rich Show, talking about everything. I just got through shoot in Eau Claire, doing the health food thing about your health and everything to help you do better in life. Make you walk better, talk better, and get your blood pressure down and sugar where it should be. Kill me, Mary. There we go. All right, and I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the YouTube talk show with Daddy Rich Rockin' Chair Hour. If you need to go to this and check this out or give any comments or whatever, or anything applies to it, go to Daddy Rich Rockin' Chair Hour. It's a one word, solid. Go to YouTube, put it in one word, and there it is. You can pull me up. And go to my web deal and give some comments, feedback. And also going to need some help with some young ladies coming on. I need some young ladies to come on and help with the show so we can take it a little bit higher, a little bit farther, and do a little more things to this show. Right now, I got a guest coming up here, and he's right out of Garland, Texas. Here, he do a lot of things here in Dallas, in Garland, Texas. And he's a great guy that I've been working with for a while here, and we all also work for KKVI, sponsored by KKVI. And come on down, CB.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate the invitation to come down and be with you today.
All right,
Thank you very much. All right.
I'm getting old. I can't be doing this.
Well, I can identify with that as well, too. Well, thank y'all. It's nice to be here, man. Appreciate it.
Nice having you here. CB, tell us about some of the things that you do in Garland District. I know you do a lot of things, so give us a step-by-step play of things you do here in Garland, Texas.
Well, I am the president of the Garland Opry, and we do gospel shows and country shows and rock and roll shows here in the Garland area. And I have a band, and we travel around the local area, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and we do shows as well. We do gospel shows with you, and we do a lot of our country and rock and roll shows in the Plaza Theater here on the Garland Downtown Square. Our next show is going to be June the 16th in the Plaza Theater, and that show's at 7:30, and you can check out all of our shows on www.thegarlandopry.com. We appreciate it if you check that out.
All right now, CB, you got anything special about special acts or special people that you have talked to? I know you sing. I'm going to try to get you to do a little bit of your little songs there for the peoples and things. But what artists do you have special that you have great intent about doing things with you with the shows at the Opry?
Well, the Garland Opry is a non-profit organization and was founded with the purpose of giving youngsters and people all the way up to my age the opportunity to perform on stage.
All right.
And we have a full band, and so that gives them the opportunity to perform in front of a live audience, and then they can learn from the experience of that, and then they can pursue a music career if they'd like to. And so we have a number of different acts here in Garland, Texas, professional acts that come in and visit with us. And then we have a number of amateurs that are very, very talented as well.
All right. And y'all, that's CB there, and we do a lot of things for the community with the radio station. CB that came out and sing, and we did also the cancer relay. Then CB, that was about 2 weeks ago. No, about last month ago, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, we do the cancer relay every year with the radio station KKVI. And then here in Garland, we have a number of activities that we do. We have parades about every third month of the year, and we have the Shriners and those kind of people that come out. So we're very active here in the Garland, Texas area. Hope you guys will look us up.
All right. And CB, tell the people about how they can get in touch with you or your website or different things that they might want to be interested in. Because I know we're stretching out to a lot of people. We get ready to do some gospel shows. So me and CB just finished one last week ago, a little small gospel show. We try to mix it up and bring a new deal to it. So if you're interested, get in touch with CB or get in touch with myself on daddyrich.com. So come on out and CB, tell them about how they can get you.
Well, the Garland Opry has been in business for 42 years now. It's the oldest local family entertainment Opry west of the Mississippi River. And our website is www.thegarlandopry.com. And you can get on our website and you can send emails to myself. You can buy some music on the website if you'd like. You can buy tickets. We take credit cards and PayPal. So we just appreciate it if you would just check in there and visit with any of our entertainers that we have.
All right, CB, you might give me just a little something. I'm going to step out the way just for a second and just give folks a little something that what you do so they'll know that the man that's sitting here, he can do the same thing.
Are you speaking of singing?
Yeah, a little something.
Oh, I love to sing. Thank you, man.
I'm going to step out the way, y'all, and let him do what he do.
Am I going to have to pay you something for this privilege?
No.
Well, how about just a little bit of a Gaither song?
That'll work.
All right. Well, how about I stand up? So do that. And we'll do this a cappella. We also do this with tracks also, but this is a Gaither song. I'm not on an ego trip. I'm nothing on my own. I've made mistakes. I've often slipped. I'm only flesh and bone. But I'll prove someday why I say I'm of a special kind. When he was on the cross, I was on his mind. All right, thank you for that.
All right, thank you there for CB. Thank you that so much there, CB. That was CB Lewis there here in Garland, Texas, at the Grand Ole Opry. And we're going to keep it going on, and I got some more lovely guests coming up. I got a young lady that's coming up, and she's talking about the things that you go through, relationship, marriages, and all that. I know a lot of us have a lot of problems with that and relationships. And she got a Christian way of doing things and talking about it. And she's going to let you know about some of the things that you can do as a Christian. And some folks think that, hey, because I'm a Christian, I can't say sex. I can't say, baby, give it to them. Oh, no, they think you can't do it, but you can't. Because you did before you got there. And it's all right, it's all good. That's your wife, that's your woman, that's everything, that's your man, that's all of it. So she's going to let you know that it's okay what you do and how to have other times with your spouse, that where y'all can have romance time and good times and everything. So we're going to break up, y'all forgive me, because I'm messing this name up, I'm not good with names. Kanika, come on down, Kanika. Can2. We're gonna set up for her so she can tell y'all about the great things she do here in Dallas, and she do a lot of things with different churches, and she did a great deal for us for Valentine's. So come on up, Nikki. Come on, set her back up here, CB. And she does a few things. I'm gonna step over to the side over here while they get her situated there, and also Daddy Rich rocking chair. You go to there, and I'll be also having some more deals where I'm going to. You're gonna see bands. I'm gonna be doing bands, going to different restaurants, different events. So if you have an event or a business that you like for me to come out and shoot and do some interviews, hit me up on Daddy Rich rocking chair. And that's on YouTube. Go to YouTube for all the information about this here and all about the company and everything. And we got it on YouTube. And hopefully I can come out to your place or business or a restaurant and do some live deals with y'all. Kamika, you almost ready there? You almost ready? You ready? All right, I'm going to step back over here to her and thing and get this little party. Let's party about the love. What y'all say? Let's say love. Can everybody say love? Go. It's on you.
It's on me. Thank you, Brother Richard. Thank you, Brother Richard, for having me. Thank you for allowing me this time to speak and to share some things that I have been learning myself. I attend Liberty University, and I am working on my bachelor's degree with psychology and Christian counseling. And with that, one of the courses that I have been instructed to take is healthy sexuality. And because Liberty University is a God-based university, then we have to take these courses, and all of the courses are giving information about and including God in the lessons that we're learning. So, healthy sexuality. And as I begin, it's just sharing some information that I've learned in that course. I am not quite just yet the licensed Christian counselor, but I'm on my way that way, and we'll plan to finish that by May of next year. So as I get started, I wanted to share with you God's great idea, and it's the toward a theology of sexuality. It's kind of looking at it in a different viewpoint than what the world looks at it. We're going to look at it from God's point of view. And although attitudes towards sex vary widely, we must realize that God is in the business of making beautiful things that we should not be ashamed of. And since God created sex, and sex is discussed at length in the Bible, a theology of sex and human sexuality is needed to guide humanity in the truth about its nature and the role in our lives. I will go ahead and get some words that may shock you out of the way so that we will not be appalled and just floored that she would say those types of things on camera. We will be using words: clitoris, penis, breast, vagina, anus, etc. There. It's all out. It's all out. It's okay. It's okay. God designed it and we can smile about it because it's a part of us. And there's a dissenting view in the church that sex is an evil result of our fallen world, when in reality sex originated as God's idea and not even man's idea. To have a proper view of sex, we may have to think a little bit theologically about it, and we will interpret God's logic and purpose on the subject of sex and sexuality by uncovering what the Bible has to say about these subjects. There was once a lady talking to a group of newly married women, and she said marriage and relationship would be okay if it wasn't for sex. That's what I thought. How about that for a dissenting view to spread amongst newly married women on her idea of sex? And some people believe that God only tolerates sex for the sake of procreation. And we know that that is not true. We know that that is not true, that he designed it for our pleasure. I believe everyone listening, everyone looking has had pleasure in having sex at least once in their lives. At least once. At least. Let me define for you the difference between sex and sexuality. Sex is the appetite in a human body for procreation and pleasure. But sexuality is the aesthetics that surround sex due to the differences between males and females. We discover the greatness of human sexuality when we experience our sexuality within the structures required by God's logic and his word. There are 12 biblical principles on sexuality. I will try to get them out there as quickly as I can, not take up a lot of your time. But principle number 1 is that God made man and woman. Sexuality is a necessary element in humanity's ability to fulfill the creation mandate and for a divine purpose. God pronounced his entire creation good and sanctified his purpose. It would be a mistake to think that sex or sexual feelings are bad. There are many different scriptures with that. Genesis 1, 26 through 31 and Genesis 2, 24 through 25. I won't take a lot of time reading all of those scriptures, but you do have them for your reference. And through this is the birthing of a godly seed, and it is to be celebrated. Principle number 2. It is not God's will that we consign the sexual dimensions of our personhood to extension. As with other appetites, we must assume personal responsibility for control. Control and not extension is God's logic. And in Proverbs 5 1 through 23, it's talking about control and controlling your body and monogamy. And in Song of Solomon, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 8, it says, don't awaken love until it's time. It's talking about not participating in the fornication. Don't arouse those feelings until it's time, until you have that God-given purpose with your mate to unleash those feelings. It talks about a wall, and her wall is the purity and her integrity. And then it actually uses the word in the New International Version. It actually uses the word that revolving door. That she shouldn't be a revolving door where people go in and out. In and out. That's not what God designed it for. Control is an element in the fruit of the Spirit and is a component of His gracious work in the life of a child of God. Controlled by the Spirit and not controlled by the flesh is how we should be operating as children of God. Self-control and our refusal to apply it to ourselves and our relationships introduces us to theological issues such as sin, repentance, confession, forgiveness, and restoration. We encounter those things. We have to go through all of those things because we've messed up and we haven't been in control of our body. We haven't been able to keep ourselves pure and not be in a revolving door. And that revolving door can apply to men also. Yes. The notches on the belt, the numbers in the black book, revolving door. When Christ has set you free, then you are not to get tied up in it again, over and over. And that's in Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. Living in a post-fallen world because of Adam and Eve's sin, self-control is now an issue. Principle number 3. The only legitimate satisfaction of the sexual appetite is inside the covenantal commitment. The seal of commitment is at the heart of God's logic regarding marriage. Commitment to monogamy until death do us part. The seal of purity is what they call it. That it has not been tampered with. You remember a while back, many years ago, when you had the Tylenol bottle and someone had tampered with the Tylenol bottle and put different things in it, messed it up, and now we have the seal to protect the bottle and the contents of the bottle. And so that's how we should be in our relationships and in marriage, the seal of purity, that we protect that part of our bodies and part of our relationship until it is open by the person that is getting ready to partake it and to have part in it. So we are sealed by the Holy Spirit.
Sealed, D.
Principle number 4. Some sex relationships represent a form of idolatry, fashioned in the midst of personal fear, addiction, and rebellion. Victimization abounds when sexuality is divorced from the directives of God's logic and His Word. A lot of this come into play where a lot of women, sometimes they have sex out of fear. They are afraid to say no, or they are afraid of what may happen if they don't lay with this man that they feel care about them or love them. Then you have sexual addictions. You have men and women that are sex addicts. These things happen because we have went outside of what God has designed sex to be. We are worshiping the creature more than the creator. And also sex can be lordship over our lives. There have been times where people hold sex over the other person for means of compromise, negotiation, or getting their way. And this is not how God designed it to be. Marriage is honorable and the marriage bed undefiled. Principle number 5. Sex under the seal of the covenant is not just good. It is pure, honorable, and holy. If you can imagine the idea of holy sex. You can have that when it's in the confines of the way God designed it, using His Word and using His logic. You can partake in holy sex. That's hard for some couples to understand, that when they have sex and enjoy it and it's done in the marital covenant, then God is pleased. God is pleased with that, and He sees it as holy. He sees it as holy. Principle number 6. The sexual appetite is not placed in humans only to assure procreation. It is God's intention that our sexuality be a source of intense pleasure for us. Intense pleasure for us. Not just something we do and, okay, I got it over with. It was all right. It was good. Okay, I'm glad I'm finished. No, intense pleasure, using all of the senses. In that, with sex. All of the senses. Eyes rolling back in the back of the head, noises coming out of the mouth, body trembling and shaking, using all of the senses. God intended it for intense pleasure. He's not anti-pleasure. And in the scriptures of Song of Solomon 4, verses 1 through 15, Ecclesiastes, and Proverbs, he uses the word ravishing. That time with your spouse and with your mate is ravishing. It's in his word. So we don't have to be afraid of it. Principle number 7, I'm almost done. Sexual intercourse is more than a physical act. It's two persons in a very special kind of knowing that implies deep connection, communion, sharing, and total self-giving. Genesis 2:18 through 25, Song of Solomon, and Ephesians 5:25 through 33. A knowing is more than just facts. It's a safety surrounding each other, where you feel safe and you feel comfortable, you feel secure with one another. That is knowing. With Adam and Eve, when he knew his wife, that is what he was referring to. When they laid together and he knew her. And when that happened, we all know and understand, we know a person on a whole new level. Yes. After that has taken place. Ministering to the needs of others and serving one another. When we find ourselves doing this, it meets our own needs. In the world that we live in society we live in, we're concerned with me, me, me. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to do me. When you begin to serve others in that sexual area, when you begin to serve your mate, when you begin to care about what that mate feels, when you begin to care about how the mate is enjoying the sexual relationship, then your own needs will be met in return. Your own, I know that may be hard to believe, but when you see the pleasure, when you see the intense pleasure being found in your mate, you will be pleased and your needs will be met. Principle number 8. Sex, because of its intense nature, cannot bring ultimate joy to the participants without a complete commitment from both partners to the exclusiveness that monogamy guarantees. The absence of fidelity to one's partner until death parts a violation of divine law and produces internal rage in the persons being victimized by the infidelity. Even sexual fantasy divorced from the covenantal mate can diminish the joy of sex derived from monogamous coupling. And that's found in 1 Thessalonians 4, 1 through 7, Ecclesiastes 6, verse 9, also chapter 7, 25 through 29. And what this is speaking of is when you're outside of the covenantal marriage and there is infidelity, it produces what? Rage. You're mad, you're upset, you're angry, you're ready to get even, you're ready to go and bash in the window, set the car on fire, and everything else. Also, with the sexual fantasies, everyone has a sexual fantasy, whether they're letting it be known or not. There is one, even for the males and the females. We know that the females probably have kept it. Don't say you want to do it on the rooftop. He gonna think something wrong with you. That's okay when it's in the confines of that covenantal marriage. The wandering eye. A wandering eye can violate the seal of purity in the marriage relationship. You must guard yourself and your sexual fantasies that they are with your mate. So men, be careful with fantasizing about Beyonce while making love to your wife. Be careful, because you're going to be upset when you open up your eyes and that's not her. Guard yourself that those sexual fantasies and that they include your mate. The marriage bed is undefiled. So if the male agrees, the woman agrees, then you can do it on top of the roof.
Get a rope.
Nothing's wrong with that. Principle number 9. Sexual intercourse is a part of the marital relationship that's necessary to experience of genuine and full unity in the marriage. Only in cases where it is made impossible by the other compelling reasons should its absence from the marriage relationship be acceptable. In these cases, both partners should understand the reasons for its absence and give willing consent. This refers to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 through 5. You give consent only for a short time during fasting and prayer, not because he didn't wash the dishes, ladies. This sex should not be withheld from the marriage relationship. When it is, it opens up the door to a whole new bag of tricks. When it's kept, because it's designed for marriage, it's designed for one another. So when you try to withhold that, there's not going to be a lot of good that's coming from that. That's not healthy for the relationship. Principle number 10, sex is a reciprocal, that means both parties give and take. It's a reciprocal right based on the reality that our bodies belong to our mates. I know. That's hard to believe, that's hard to swallow, that our bodies belong to our mate. But then you remember that that means their bodies belong to us. This scriptural teaching is not intended to be a license for spousal abuse, but rather to emphasize the responsibilities that accompany the marriage commitment. Spouses are responsible under God for serving one another in a satisfying and healthy sexual manner. We're responsible. That's our responsibility in a marriage. In such a setting, sex is personal and holy, a complex meeting of both mates, feelings, thoughts, and sensations. Grace flows to the needs of the other person. It's a vital connection, and we have no